Okay, I think we are live. Let's be sure, as usual, we will open up YouTube separately in order to see if it is live. Yes, indeed. Hello and buenas. All right, we are set. I think we're ready. Uh, got a lot of things. Well, not a lot of Ecuador news I'd like to say to talk about, but a lot of things to update in general, I guess, about the channel and life, I guess. Please let me know if the audio is okay. Uh, Unfortunately, my whole setup got kind of messed up, I guess. In fact, hello? Hello? It's actually really low. Should be able to hear myself really loudly over here. Let me see here. What if I raise it like this? Hello? Hello? Magic. Buenas. I don't know. I feel like the audio is low because I have the volume raised on my phone, and I should be like hearing myself screaming with how loud that is. It's weird. Let's see. All right. And you can hear the tapping and you can hear me, but it's slow. I'm not a fan of it being this low, and I don't know why it's this low. You see, the laptop I was using in order to set up my audio, like my whole live stream setup, uh, the internet on it died. So I need to go see if I can get it fixed. But luckily, due to some help, I guess you could say, from a special someone, he helped me out and gave me a laptop to work with, coincidentally, because if not, right now I wouldn't even be able to live stream. Papicho, hey, how's it going? Buenas. Beyond Borders, hello. You can't hear anything. Yeah, we're trying to work out the audio issues, and it's really weird because, like, I get that it's low, but it shouldn't be that low. Let's see here. Can't hear you. All right. It's not echoing, but I think the audio is going in through the desktop, so it's picking up sounds all over the place. All right, so I'll assume that that resolved the issue. Let me know if it's too much. Either way, I'm gonna drop the microphone, see if that does anything. Uh, Hello, Fred. Hello, Rudy. I can hear you fine now. Let me know if it's still good. If we're still good, then perfect. If not, then I guess this solved the problem. I'm just concerned that it's taking the audio from the laptop, and it's gonna be like grabbing sounds from around. I guess we'll start off with, of course, the greetings as usual. Buenas to everyone. Hi, I'm glad you could make it. Like was saying a little bit earlier, there's been a little bit of a modification to my setup because the laptop that I was using, which I mentioned, I think, in previous streams, well, I know I mentioned it, it was a donation and it was in bad shape in terms of like it was a refurbished laptop and it has a little bit of like I noticed some kind of like faults, but it's not a big deal. It worked and I was happy with it because it was helping with my streams and my work. But the other day while I was at work, I was trying to turn it on and like connect to the internet, and it wouldn't connect to the internet. And then when I turned it off and turned it back on, the internet disappeared. Like it doesn't even have the option to turn on Wi-Fi. So I was like, okay, I'm going to turn it off again. I'm going to leave it the rest of the day, see if I turn it back on, and if it revives. Didn't revive. The only good thing, I guess you could say, about this situation, not even good, it's just lucky thing, is that I actually got another laptop that was given to me, and recently by someone. Someone they told me to keep them anonymous. But if you've been on the streams, you should probably know. Hello, Camila. Hi, Maya. Uh, how's it going? And but I'm happy with it. It's a laptop that's saved me right now, and so I've had to like configure it, and I wasn't sure if it was gonna work. But I'm glad that the audio is working now. So yeah, we have audio. We are in action, I guess. So yeah, that's the situation with that. Also, I don't know if you can see the light coming from this side, but that's also the light. Let me move the camera for a little bit over here. We have a softbox now, a light. So now I think it fills up my face a little bit more so I don't look like completely dark because I'm using the natural light from out here, the light from the softbox, and of course the light from the top from my normal room light. So we've got like a little bit of a better setup now. And it feels good. It feels nice. So yeah, that's a little bit of the material updates that I wanted to give. We do have, of course, our water with lemon and pink salt. It's good stuff. So yeah, let's begin with a little bit of the conversation. Buenas tardes, Rudy. Feliz domingo para ti también. Happy Sunday to you too. I hope you're having an excellent day. Thank you for being here. Thank everyone for being here, of course. And as usual, I'll make this little communication for everyone who joins, not on the stream, but on the VOD. This live stream will last maybe around 1 hour, 2 hours long. The beginning is, of course, the conversation about the situation with the paros, apparently. And then after that, any extra miscellaneous conversations we might have to have about Ecuador, some conversations. And then, of course, a conversation just to have fun. A little bit of life updates and such, channel updates. So if you watch the VOD, after we talk about the paro stuff, you're free to leave. If you want to keep hearing and having a conversation, we'll be here. We actually have, as a snack today, we have the pretzels that I really like. Well, the only ones you can actually find, at least in the city that I'm in, and I've been able to find in all these years that I've been in Ecuador. So yeah, crazy stuff. And it's funny because these pretzels are going to be in a video that I recently talked about. I'm recording right now, and it's like a cost of living video, so you're going to see them make a guest appearance. So yeah, let's begin with what we have to talk about, which is the paro. Remember, when we talk about paro in Spanish, paro is the same thing as a protest, basically a stop to certain functions in the city. So the situation with the paro, and it was weird to me because I had heard about it, but not like enough to really like. I didn't even know there was a paro before this paro. Funny, right? But yeah. So here we have the Reddit because I've been trying to find information on the paro, and I wasn't able to find anything like super official except for this other question that was, "Hay paro nacional? Is there a paro nacional in Ecuador on the 4th of July?" Ironically, Independence Day of the States. And really, it's like, I didn't even know there was this paro, which I understand why it exists because, like it says in this picture, sube la gasolina, sube todo. If the gasoline goes up in price, everything goes up in price. And I've always talked about the situation of everything going up in price whenever the gasoline goes up in price. It's just an unfortunate side effect of gasoline because, of course, if you raise the gas, that means the transportation gets raised. And if the transportation gets raised, the places that receive the things that are being transported need to increase the price of the things in order to compensate the rise of gas. So, yeah, it's pretty annoying. Let's see here. Elaine, pretzels in Ecuador versus political chaos in America. Maya, which city are you located in? I am currently in Puerto Viejo, Ecuador. Um, very much in the coastal region of Ecuador. Elaine, I'd rather have pretzels. Indeed, I would too. I don't know if anyone who's on this live stream knows or heard recently, but President Biden stepped down as the presidential candidate for these next elections. I was pretty surprised to hear about it. Philip DeFranco, a YouTube channel that I really like watching, he gives American news, worldwide news really, but focuses more on the American stuff in a funny way. And he just like posted a video like just detailing the message from President Biden, and I was like, wow, I was surprised to hear that Biden was stepping down. I mean, there were people saying that he should step down. I was just surprised to see that it actually happened. So yeah, that's a little bit of a out of Ecuador update. If you hadn't heard about it, now you did. Now you have. So yeah, talking about the paro, the situation with the paro. Initially, the paro was because of the raise in gas, and no one wants that because, like you saw in the image over here, and like I just mentioned, you raise the gas, everything goes up in price. But then afterwards, recently, about 4 days ago, as it says in this post, they're asking about the situation with a paro because there were people talking about there's going to be a paro. Even I heard about it at school. But really, it wasn't a paro, like the whole everything stops, like there's, people out on the streets, blocking roads. It wasn't anything like that. It was more of I guess you could say, watered down version where only like certain vehicles, transportation vehicles, buses, taxis, people who have to travel from city to city, transportation, they were not working. They were going to turn off their engines. That's the way they said it in Spanish. If you look at the first comment here, apagón de motores, turning off the engines. And basically, it doesn't even have to do with the gas, because the funny thing about this whole situation with the increase in gas is that there is a subsidy for transportation vehicles. Apparently, I think it's taxis and buses, but for everyone else, there's no subsidy. So we've got a raise in gas, which is unfortunate because it does eventually become expensive. And because of that, that's not the reason why the transportation vehicles, taxis and buses, that's not the reason why they were doing a paro or apagón de motores or turning off the engines. They're more concerned about safety. And in regards to safety, we've got the situation with something that happened yesterday, specifically in the city of Manta. In Manta, yesterday there was another unlifing attempt. You guys know what I'm talking about if you've watched my videos. But there was another unlifing attempt. Well, not even an attempt. It happened, and another unlifing. People were eliminated. And it's really close to home because as someone who lives in the coast and my city is literally next to Manta. It was surprising, and sadly, it even affected someone that I know. Not it wasn't their friend, but it was someone that they know. It affected someone that they know, someone that they studied with. They weren't in the same class, but they were in the same career, and that person was a year like they were a semester advanced than the person that I'm talking about. So they were like, it affected them a little bit more than like, oh, you don't even know that person, so you don't really feel it. But for this person, it affected them a bit, and it was sad. And I asked them, what do you think about the situation? And it's the same thought process that a lot of us have right now in the coast, mainly, where it's kind of scary to go out because you feel like if you go out, you put yourself at risk of something happening. And not necessarily because you committed a crime or you did something. Like, I have no relation to cartels other than reporting certain things that I see on the news. But if I go out and I'm at a restaurant and someone who does have some kind of relation, like maybe they owe them money or maybe they did something, like if I'm in that area, something could happen to me. And that's the thought process that the person, my friend, that they were mentioning. Like, it's scary to go out and think of the possibility of something happening to you. It's unfortunate. Let's see here. Elaine seems like a show in the US. I just heard about it 30 minutes ago. I'm located in New York. All right. Papicho, cover the pretzels with that delicious chocolate. There are pretzels here that have like strawberry chocolate, I guess. I don't know if it's chocolate, but it has a covering, but it's like $5 for a bag of pretzels that's less like this big. Like it doesn't even have the amount of pretzels that this bag has. I think it's ridiculous. Um, my son is in Puyo in the Oriente. Is there a paro there too? I can't confirm that right now. Apparently the situation with the paro, not even the so much a paro, but people not moving. It was a few days ago, and it was just like a sign of protest because people don't want crime. No one wants crime, obviously, but they're trying to show the government that like if the government's not doing anything, people are gonna take action. I don't think it's enough action, and at the same time, I don't want them to completely shut down cities. But it's like I don't see anything substantial happening, and it's kind of concerning because once again, the recent sicariato. I'll pull up a picture that I have here. It's gonna kind of get in the way. Um, Hopefully not in a bad way, but it's gonna get in the way of this image. But people are concerned, obviously, and it's not easy for anyone. So, looking at the image, um, basically it's showing the news on the third on Calle 13, Street 13, and Avenue 16 in Manta. There was a registered unlifing a few minutes ago. That was 12 hours ago from the moment of this image from X, from, I guess you could say, Twitter, previously known as Twitter. Uh, People, obviously criminals, shot a man who was inside of his vehicle, and he lost his life immediately, instantly. And of course, this is Luisa Gonzalez, previous presidential candidate, from the party of Rafael Correa. I guess you could say RC. Um, and her post, it says, "This is the reality in Manabi." Uh, Daniel Loboa, he does a show, like basically he just like, he says things to kind of like, oh, or he like posts things on social media. He insults, apparently. I didn't know that. And he doesn't give a solution to the problems behind the scenes, like the problems that are actually, I guess, more important, you could say. And some of the problems that Luisa lists is more than 60,000 kids that are outside of the educational system in the coast. There's 65% of the PA in with unemployment and subemployment. And there are hospitals without medical staff, and there's medical professionals without work. And she's talking about using the reserves of the PAI, which is a sort of plan that they have to like use the money that's being accumulated from taxes and such to actually fund more important things and create work. So that's the comment from Luisa, and of course, if this is the case, I'm not very happy with it either. I mean, who would be? To be honest, you got to think about it. But really, I keep going back to the thought process of the government that we have right now, with Daniel Noboa, of course, who is technically only in office for a year and a half. Like, how do you expect someone to fix the problems of years, tens of years? I want to say around 10 years. Let's just put 10 years as a number. How do you expect someone to fix 10 years of problems in 1 year? It's kind of ridiculous to me in my mind to think that we're going to make a substantial change at this moment. There will be changes, there will be improvements, there will be things that can be done, but to believe that we're going to be able to fix everything immediately is just mind-boggling to me. Like, you gotta be realistic. But what would be those statistics before he became president? Yes, Jesse, that's actually something we have to look at as well. Unfortunately, I don't have the statistics. I just have what I see here, what I was able to find. But we have to look at everything from before and compare it to now. I'd have to dedicate a whole video to that if I wanted to actually go in depth on it. But for now, this is what the information that they're giving, and honestly, I don't know how much I can actually, like, I wouldn't say agree with, but I can actually sympathize with, because it feels like I said, you're looking at the errors that are being made without taking into consideration how much still needs to be done, and with how little time there's left to actually do things. I don't know. It's pretty crazy to me, at least. So that's pretty much the situation with the paro. And over here, it goes a little bit more in depth about the security, the situation, what the transportation, I guess, taxi drivers and buses, what they want. They want the militarization of like highways, the most conflictive highways, such as Santo Domingo Quevedo, Guayaquil Chiveria Manabí, Guayaquil going to El Oro, Guayaquil going to Azuay. So these are the things that the transportation companies, taxis and buses, what they want to be done and fixed, basically. And really, I don't know, like, we go back to the conversation that we had before. Like, we have the increase in EVA, and it feels bad that you don't feel like something is actually being done. Once again, for me, living in the city that's right next to the city where a sicariato just happened, a unlifing, it's like, what if it happens over here? And it did happen in the last live stream. We did talk about that. But what if it happens over here again? Rudy, it's one of the challenges a new government inherits what was there. So the ideas of wanting to change things for the better is good, but it takes time. Supposing, of course, the new officials are okay. that's the conversation that we always have about like corruption. Like, yeah, we have people who come into power, but what if they're not actually doing what they're supposed to be doing? It feels kind of bad. In these past few years, it's always felt bad because you always feel like they're using the money to supposedly fund things, and only like a small percentage is actually funding things, and everything else is just being taken by the people who are in power. Magnus, buenas. How's it going? Rudy, same thing for the electrical situation. This was a long time in the making. Same thing here. Roads are bad. It's from years of underfunding. Patricia, everything, not anything. Lost. Oh man, it's a frustrating thing to live through. Like I said, I had the conversation with one of my friends, and they were like, they don't want to go out, or they feel like unsafe going out. And it's like we have reached this level of insecurity, lack of safety, whatever you want to call it, not because the government right now is bad, the current leader in the government is bad, but because we've been so permissive with things during the last few years, letting it just kind of like fester and build up, that now that we want to change it, there's of course going to be resistance. Because if there's resistance, then people are going to be afraid. If people are afraid, what are they going to do in the next government? Like the next time they have elections, they're going to be like, we can't trust the guy who's not doing anything. Not doing anything. We have to go back to the way things were. And that's not the solution. Going back to the way things were is just going to put us back into this biding our time situation where eventually when once again we want to make a change, we can't. It's going to be too late. I always come up with the question, like I always have the question, what is the solution? And really there doesn't seem to be an immediate or a good solution that benefits everyone in the way that we would want. It's frustrating. Another part of the conversation that I was having with my friend was the idea that with everything that's happening, like the people who they know they're dealing with these mafia members and such. Like it's frustrating to me that those people know that they're putting their lives at risk and the lives of others at risk when they go out, and yet they do it anyways. But that's naivety on my part, because at the same time I should know that if they're selfish enough to do things that are criminal acts, why wouldn't they put other people's lives at risk? It's partially me being naive, because it's like I should know better than to believe that someone who's openly committing a crime, or maybe not openly, but someone who knows they're doing something wrong, is going to think about the well-being of others. It's just frustrating though. You go out and you put other people at risk. It sucks. In other words, it sucks. So yeah, that's the situation with the paro, and really, I guess that's the whole crux. I'm not sure if that's the correct word of today's live stream, because there isn't really much else to say. We're worried right now in the country about the situation with crime, insecurity. Of course, normal civilians like myself are worried about gas. I recently was recording my newest video. Like it's not done. There is a video that's done. I'll talk about that in a bit. But I'm recently recording a new video. I think I mentioned it last live stream, where we talk about a specific kind of cost of living, I guess. And I'm recording the price of, I'm recording myself putting in gas into my motorcycle. Before, when I put in $5 of gas, it would take me from like empty, like the red bar, all the way up to like full, and sometimes even a little bit more. But the other day, I think it was before yesterday, I went and refueled my motorcycle, and it went from the same red area, like almost empty, and it only took me up to like before full. And I was like, that was $5 that before would completely fill up my gas. And now it's not filling up my gas. Is the 15% increase in EVA that much? And is this increase in gas really affecting that much? Oh, I don't know, man. It's just kind of like upsetting because it's not like I'm earning an insane amount of money. Like, yes, because I have three jobs, I probably have more money than some people who don't have three jobs. But it's like I have to have three jobs in order to have a decent amount of money, and in order for me to say like, oh well, at least putting in some gas isn't gonna kill me. Oh, I can buy something and it's not gonna put me in the red, you know? Like it feels bad. Fluffy, solution is to support your leaders. I find people of Ecuador sometimes negative of anything that the government does for them. I think the negativity from people, and I say it because I felt it too, the negativity from all of us is the fact that we don't actually see what the government is doing. And maybe it's a perception of what you define as the government actually doing something. If behind the scenes the government is making it easier for people to get jobs, for people to better roads, like they're making plans, the government is doing something, but we as the people don't see it. So we complain about it, of course. And then you hear the cases of corruption, money being taken and not actually being used to make things better. So you just feel like, what are we paying taxes for? What is the government actually doing? So we complain about it. And there's an expression in Spanish, el que no llora. Well, I think it's the reverse, el que llora mama, or vice versa, el que no llora no mama. So basically, if you want to translate it like the best way, if you don't cry, you don't get breastfed or you don't get fed, which is like what the logic of babies. So it's like if you never complain, if you just accept things for what they are, nothing ever changes. That's why even in my videos, I always say like, if we don't acknowledge the problems, if we don't admit that they exist, if we don't say they exist, then it's just like nothing's gonna happen. We're just gonna be like, yeah, we're perfect, when it's not actually the case. And it's not like things are ever going to be perfect, but they can certainly be much better than they are now. So we complain not because like we want to be complain or whiny or anything, but it's necessary because if we don't do it, it's just gonna stay the same. And we're tired of that. At least I'm tired of it in my own way, of course. Like I can say that right now I'm at home, I'm sitting here, I'm drinking my water with lemon, I'm talking to you guys. We're having our conversation. We'll have some fun, open some pretzels in a bit. But like things aren't okay. Like, and I can acknowledge that even though I'm in an okay position at this moment. Economically struggling and such, but such is life. Papito, here in Chicago, gas goes up without an explanation and no one process, which I find weird. I would find it weird too, like, or maybe it's just like you get used to it and you just kind of feel like there's nothing I can do. And that's a bad mentality because as people, we vote, we have power. Of course, as an individual, you feel weak, but remember, collectively, you are strong. It's just a matter of how to express that strength. Protest is not always the best way because I don't like chaos or doing bad things, but sometimes you feel like it's necessary in order for things to happen. And I don't know if that's actually the solution to make things happen, you know? Magic, every year in the States, gas prices increase in the summer and fall in the winter. The good thing I feel like about the States in the sense of things going up in price is at least when things go up in price, I think, your salary isn't like terrible. Like over here, things go up in price, but your salary is so bad that you feel like you never like progress. I was like doing like I always do these calculations in my mind. Like if I want to buy, suppose I want to buy a car, like I'm never going to be able to buy it with the salary that I have now unless I save every cent of what I earn, which is impossible because I have a cost of living. If I didn't have to spend anything, that would be a different story. But like I feel like a lot of people, and I've talked about this in the previous stream, they're not going to have anything that's theirs. They're going to inherit things. Like that's a conversation I'm going to have in a video one day probably because it's frustrating me. But it's like everything I'm going to have someday that's not like the things that you see right now in my room, like a house, not even a car because no one in my family here in the city I'm in has a car. So it's like everything that I'm going to have like one day, it's not even going to be mine that I earned. It's just going to be inherited. And it feels bad because like my situation, it's you feel like your situation is that bad that you can't even buy things for yourself. It's not good. Rudy saying Papicho, gas goes up and down here a lot. People are upset, but it hasn't changed anything. Jesse, in the Netherlands, it also keeps going up. It's at €2 per liter at many places. I can't remember if it was the Super or if it was the Echo, which is the cheap one, that was at like $2 something as well. I'm like, mm-mm. Rudy, I agree. There's a lot of situations where bringing attention to a subject can bring an actual change for sure. The system here has been here in place too long, so for gas, it's hard. So I think in a way, paro is very good to stop the situation from being ingrained. It's a good way to let the government know that we're not happy with something. I just don't know what would be the actual solution after that. Like, if the paro happens and suppose we stop all functions and we're like, yeah, we don't like this, so the government's like, okay, we'll concede to what you're saying. But like, what would they do? Drop the price in gas again? Wouldn't that just once again put us in an economically bad situation? Like, I mean, we're already in an economically bad situation. Supposedly, the increase in EVA was to fix that situation, but I don't feel like anything's been fixed. Yeah, I feel safe sometimes out on the street because I'm not in the middle of a criminal activity happening. But that doesn't mean fellow Ecuadorians aren't going through some bad things right now. I can't just act like, oh, I'm happy because everything is fine with me and ignore everyone else's suffering. That's selfish. And while it's okay to be selfish sometimes, like I don't feel like it's okay to feel like everything is okay just because in your city it's okay. I feel for the people, for everyone who's around me and who has to go through bad things. I just don't know how to help them. I guess my job here reporting things at least keeps everyone like informed. Patricia's salaries in the USA are stagnant right now, and the cost of living is very high. That's what frustrates me about the States, how high the cost of living is. And my problem sometimes is viewing it from the eyes of my salary. Like I can look at that and be like, yeah, it's expensive in the States, but you earn a lot of money. But that's because I'm comparing it to my $400 to $500 salary and looking at the salary in the States of thousands of dollars. But then I I obviously look at the cost of living and it's like thousands of dollars doesn't mean much if you're spending thousands of dollars to be able to stay alive. And that's what I always tell people who want to leave Ecuador. Like, yeah, you can go, but remember, even if you're getting paid more in the States, like you earn, $1,000 a month, which is better than $400 a month. But you're also spending $1,000 plus a month in order to have a place to stay, to eat well. Over here, at least you look at a place to stay at $100 and you look at food at $3 if you want a decent lunch. So it's like people don't see that here sometimes, and they just look at the, oh my God, I'm gonna earn $1,000, and it's not just that. There's more to it. There's much more to it. Jesse, but you all pay in gallons, right? 1 gallon equals 3.7 liters. If I remember correctly, yes. Beyond borders, there's no nation that I can think of where the cost of living allows the average person a fair chance. Even here, the average middle class income is not enough to survive without multiple jobs. I'm wondering then, like over here, I keep thinking to myself, a car is a luxury. So then why do so many people have cars? And then I remember what everyone says. People have things because they go into debt to get the things. It's like I don't feel good about that. And I'm wondering if like I don't know if I'm just not understanding business. But is it okay to be greedy if you made your business, you worked hard to make it, so like then you become the big business that like has workers that are being underpaid. Does that make it okay for you to be greedy because you had to work your way up to that? Or do you want to be better than the other business, which would be my mentality? Like, do you want to be better because you don't want to have this, you don't want others to suffer through the same thing that you had to suffer through? I don't know if you guys, if you feel me on that, like if you get me on that. I'm going to change to the just set chatting scene. Jesse, same here. Even houses are unattainable unless you are together with a partner. Speaking of buying, beyond borders, the minimum income level is about the same to cost of living as the average salary in the USA. So wait, if I understand that correctly, you earn enough to live, which means that if you're earning, suppose $1,000, you only need like $1,000 to live. Is it okay for me to think that in the States? And while I wait for that answer, over here, it feels bad a lot of the time because like we have the basket of basic living, la canasta de I don't remember what it's called. La canasta básica, the basic basket. I don't think that's what it's called in English. I keep forgetting what it's actually called. Hello, Daniel. Um, but like the average, the cost of the amount that you earn in a minimum wage here makes no sense for what that basket requires, for what that amount of food, amount of money you actually need to live requires. I've done the calculations. I have the cost of living videos on my channel, and it's like it makes no sense. Patricia, no, that's incorrect. Yeah, I was wondering because I don't feel like it's one to one. At least not from what I've heard. Maya, people are always shocked at home at how much things cost in the US, and New York is one of the most expensive. It costs minimum $1,500 a month for a one-bedroom apartment. I've seen these videos where they interview people on the streets, excuse me, um, and they ask them how much do you pay for rent, and then they ask them to show how what the place is like, and it's literally like a box, like a square. Like my room is a luxury compared to what I think I saw in those videos. Magic, I hear what you're saying, but you have to profit in your business to be able to help people. I'm not suggesting you exploit your consumer base, but you will need to make money, and sometimes that comes at a cost. It puts morality into question. Like, do you want to earn more and be portrayed as a bad person, or do you earn a good amount, like not amazingly good, and be portrayed as a good person? Because I kind of feel like I don't know how what the mindset of business people is like. I don't consider myself necessarily a business person, but it's like, do they feel bad about like having a job? Like for example, you have your business, you're earning $1,000 a month in your business, and you have to pay your workers. Like you could pay them the minimum wage, and they'll be unhappy about it because you're working them to death in order to make that money. Or you pay them, let's just assume $500 a month. So they're like, oh, they're paying us more than the minimum wage. This guy is great, amazing. Like, is the mentality to just like squeeze as much out of your worker as possible and pay them as little as possible? Or is it just that that's the reality that they have to go through because the expenses of a business are just that bad? Like, I know there are operational expenses. I might sometimes not know some things, but like I know that it's a business is not just, oh, I open it and whatever I earn is my earnings. You have to invest in the business. But it's like, is there a point where you can be a good person while still earning a decent amount? I guess it depends on the business. You have to earn a lot of money from it. It's the same with the minimum wage in the US too. April, yeah, here in our area, it takes two people working minimum wage to be able to keep up with bills in a cheap apartment. I think that it's the same thing in most places. Like, I've thought about the idea, like, if I wanted to live with someone, like, get together with someone and live with them, like, I'd have to earn, like, what I earn plus what they earn would make it easier for us to live because our earnings would be much higher if we combine them. So it would make more sense. I just I get frustrated at the thought that no matter what I do, it just feels like it's never enough. I don't know if anyone else has felt like that. Magic, yes, that's the mentality. We call that capitalism. Lol. Oh man. There's definitely a happy medium though. I'm wondering if the happy medium is found as soon as you earn like substantial amounts of money. Like I'm not in that position, so I can't really say that that's the case. But it's like if you're a company that's earning like, I don't know, in Ecuador, if you're earning like tens of thousands of dollars per month, like you're at a very happy position, I'm guessing. Because even if your operational costs were 10,000 and like, no, no, not 10,000 because that's the how much you're earning. If they were 1,000 and then you're paying your employees like 1,000, and then I don't know, whatever else you have to pay for, like let's just say another $2,000, that's $4,000 and you're still left with like 6,000. So is that like you're still earning a lot of money? And here $6,000 is insanely good. So at that happy medium, you're like in an epic lifestyle. Like life is good for you. But maybe there's something that I'm missing, something that I'm not understanding. And or maybe it's just no one earns that much over here, so they can't give themselves the luxury to pay people a good wage. Papito, does Ecuador have electric cars? No, not here anyways, not in Puerto Viejo. I've seen places, cities with like electric scooters. Like there are electric motorcycles that like my friend, like even my best friend has one. But like cars, I have yet to see one of those. Maybe in Quito or in like a city like Loja, I feel like you might be able to find that. My national minimum is $7.25 an hour. In New York, $15 an hour. That's $2,400 a month. Minus rent, you have $900 left for everything else. Okay, so assume $900 a month, like left over. How much does food cost in New York? Like if you were to divide it in a month, eating the bare minimum. This feels like one of my cost of living videos. Because I always do the math, and over here, at least the math right now, if we did it with like the bare minimum, if you were to assume, once again, every meal costs you $3 over here. Let's just say $3. It could be more, could be less. $3. You have to, if you're me, you don't, but you have to eat 3 meals a day. So that's $9. In a week, 7 days a week, that's $63. In a month, which let's just assume is 30 days. Well, that's too much. Let's see here. 3 times 3, we have 9 times 7 equals 63 times 4, because there's 4 weeks in a month. That's $252 that you say approximately you spend on food per month if you're eating the bare minimum, if your meals all cost $3 each. $252 isn't that bad. That's why, keeping in mind the bare minimum of cost of living here in my city, you spend $150 on rent, you spend, assume $100 on electricity, you spend $30 on internet, assumptions of course. Miscellaneous costs, you want to have fun, so you spend $50 this month, $10 every weekend, or maybe like 12, 15. You've got like a cost of living in my city of $582. If your rent, if your minimum wage here is $475, that means you're in the red, because 475, you somehow end up owing $107 because you don't have enough to pay for everything. If you're here in my city. And that's considering, there's still transportation costs to take into account and other things. But, just to give you a quick idea, there's a more detailed cost of living video on my channel. You can check that out. But that's just me doing a slight analysis right now. Let's see here. Patricia, huge companies in the USA that make billions of dollars are outsourcing jobs to third world countries where they pay those foreign employees very low wages. Yes, I've seen that. There's also many companies that won't hire people in more expensive states like New York and California because they have higher minimum wage. I hate that. It feels like it's a ripoff in a way, but it also feels like something that happens to people here anyways, like where people here get taken advantage of. And I'm not saying everyone does it, but like if you can underpay someone here, people will find a way to underpay them. That's why, like, as a teacher who can give private classes, like if I say I'm charging, let's assume what I consider fair for someone of my experience to be $15 to $20 an hour. And that sounds like a lot, but it's fair in my mind because that's what my 10 plus years of experience plus my 13 plus years in the States, more, like, well, let's just say 13 plus. My teaching experience, the work I put into perfecting grammar, vocabulary, and such. So if I think that's fair, people aren't going to like that, and they're always going to try to undercut me. And that's just putting an example because, like I said, I'm not going to charge $15 to $20 because I know no one's going to want to pay that. Everyone wants to pay for the lowest possible amount, even if that means paying for the worst possible service. So it's like, it's always a competition of trying to underpay. Though if I listen to what I've heard on social media, when people want to pay for a good service, they're willing to pay good money. It's just not a common thing. Daniel, how are veterans treated in Ecuador after service? Are they honored? What's the salary for soldiers? I've honestly never had the chance to talk to a retired soldier here in Ecuador, like a national soldier, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. Treatment of soldiers, at least I think, is better than treatment of police in the sense that people respect them, I think, more. Because with police, they're supposed to be out doing a job that most of the time you assume that they're not doing because you never see them doing it, at least for the most part. But soldiers, I guess you could say that they retire and they just live a life in peace. I don't know what they get in terms of, retirement funds, but no one really complains about soldiers as much as they do about the police. Beyond Borders, this has to be in two-part answer. Keep running out of space. I didn't say cost of living equal to income, just the opposite for the average wage earner. Okay. Example, the cost of living as in Ecuador is according to area. Here, the average income is $50,000 annually. Cost of living in the cities are about $125K and up. April, $1.69 for an onion here. Ouch. And people complain when four onions cost $1 or three. Can't remember. $300 a month. If you cook everything yourself, no takeout. So that's not so bad. I expected it to be more expensive, to be honest. It's also important to remember that in most parts of the US, you must have a car and all the costs associated. Yeah, over here, a car is like a luxury. If you have a car, that's why people see you like you have money, because not a lot of people, at least with minimum wage, can afford a car. I can't even dream of affording a car unless like I sacrifice a whole bunch of things in order to afford it. That's why I'm like creating a fund, but realistically, I know that even if I save, well, unless my salary goes up randomly, but even if I save like 3 years, I don't think I'll be able to afford a car. Maya, thank you for being here. I just noticed that you had to go. Hope you have an excellent day. Patricia, my electric bill is about $300 per month in the summer. Water is $40. Internet about 100. Groceries vary. Most people have a car payment, car insurance, homeowners insurance, insurance for everything. People here, like, they're very happy about not having insurance. I mean, anyone coming here would think it's madness not having insurance. But like, if we had insurance here, like, with what money would we pay it off? The IESS, is like the best thing we have in terms of having insurance. It's not useful insurance, but it's insurance nonetheless. And it's not like overly expensive. Rudy, I have a pretty decent salary here in Canada. If the cost of living has shot up so much here, it's hard. I stayed in Quito Sur for 5 weeks from May to June. The costs were great. It's a big mismatch in terms of salary versus cost of living. A nice independent house to rent in Quito would be 1/5 or 1/10 plus. But salary doesn't allow that here. The middle class is disappearing in North America. I'm guessing middle class is becoming the new like lower class, and like upper class is becoming the new middle class. So that means the most upper end, upper echelon is the one that's like becoming the high class. Papicho, if you live a simple life, you will save money big time. Spend on your needs, not to compete. Finance, it's personal, not a competition. Yeah, I mean, I try to save as much as I can. Like sometimes I won't even like I'll be like one day I want to go out and eat, but I know that there's food in the fridge. Like I can prepare it myself. So I'm like, I'm not gonna go out. I'm just gonna prepare it, and I'll save $2 to $3, $5 if it's an expensive place, or 10 if it's more. So it's like I'm trying to like pinch pennies pretty much. Beyond borders, for me, the average food bill is $525 a month. Utilities, everything else except rent, run $900. Then add in rent and personal expenses. Sounds like it would be very pricey. Fluffy, the average police officer salary in Ecuador is 23,567, or an equivalent hourly rate of $11. The average salary for a military officer in Ecuador is $2,062. Wow, that's really good. No wonder people actually like being military here, I guess. Like, I have a friend who was in the military service for some time. I don't know if it was like, if he was just like participating or getting paid, but I'm guessing he was getting paid. And here I am suffering with slightly higher than minimum wage salary. Maybe I should just be a military officer. Uh, ah, Let me see. I'm curious. I'm wondering if the audio is coming from the computer and not so much from the microphone. Maybe that's why it doesn't sound that good. I need to see how I fix this. I want it to be like before, where the audio is just coming from here. Patricia, the USA has also changed much more for medication than other countries. One medication I take is over $500 a month. I lost my medical insurance, so no more meds for me. I've heard of a lot of cases of that happening in the States, and I'm so sorry that that's happened to you, Patricia. It's not fair. Just to do an example, a test. Let's see if that snap shows up. No, it sounds far. Weird. Yeah, but I've heard a lot of people who've lost their ability to get medical meds in general because they're just too expensive. It kind of feels like you'd be better off just being here in Ecuador. I just don't want to risk your safety by saying, hey, come here, you'll be fine. If you're here, just make sure you're in a safe area. You don't do anything that puts you in danger. April, my partner takes a med that costs 40,000 a year. Yikes indeed, Rudy. That is just crazy. Hello, Ryan. How's it going? Beyond absurd, April. I think that's ridiculous. I'm I'm very concerned about the state of the world. Not even just Ecuador anymore, because everything is reasonable. Okay, realistically, everything is becoming more expensive. In any country that you go to, everything is becoming more expensive. But what does that mean for like why is it becoming more expensive? Is it because of the advancements in technology? Is it because there's too many people? What is causing this spike in price increase for all places in the world? Patricia, a 17-year-old boy in my town died from diabetic ketoacidosis last week. He had no medical insurance, so didn't go to a doctor until it's too late. But we give free drug rehab to addicts. That's the conversation I hear about a lot, and it's frustrating how people who need treatment, they don't get it, and yet people who I don't want to shame all people who do drugs, of course, because it's not all the same, but it's not fair how there's no equality in that sense. How is it possible that a perfectly fine in the sense of being a good, in the sense of not being a good person, but like in the sense of they're not doing like anything bad, 17-year-old boy, they can't get the help that they need, and yet there are people who get themselves into problems by addiction and such, I guess you could say it like that, and they get the help that they need. It's not fair. Once again, going back into that, the fact that the world is not fair. Daniel, that story from the last live about strangers coming to the Airbnb was terrifying. Indeed. Fluffy, I paid $1,200 per month for prescription in the US, and insurance never covered it. In Ecuador, my prescription is $25 a month. Man, Fluffy, that's amazing. I think another recommendation I'm gonna have to make is if you're someone who's suffering with medicine, like the cost of living due to meds in another country, I think coming to Ecuador might be a good solution for you. The only thing I can't recommend is the situation with healthcare itself. Like we've talked about it on this channel before, even with Don. We've talked about how healthcare, it's questionable, especially if it's free. If it's private healthcare, that's a lot better than free healthcare over here. So you might be able to risk it a little bit more. And I consider if you're already paying thousands of dollars in the States for healthcare, like over here, it's not going to be that much unless it's a serious problem, in which case in the States it would be even more expensive. So you might be able to be a lot better over here. Yoris, hello Yoris. And I was suffering for paying $30 a month for meds. It is truly expensive there. Yeah. That's not to say that your meds aren't expensive relative to what you earn. Like, of course, if you're earning not that much, $30 might be a lot for you. That's why I never underestimate or I never undermine the costs of what people are talking about, because I realize everyone's situation is different. It's frustrating to me when we try to put, like, it's okay because you have to be selfish in that sense. It's okay to put your needs before the rest because you have to be okay in order to help people be okay or in order to understand everyone else's situation. But you can't forget to think about what other people are going through. Like, people might hear over here and I'd say $500 is a lot, like in cost of living, and they'll be like, you haven't heard about my $2,000 cost of living. And of course I have. It's just over here for someone who's not earning a decent amount, like $500 is a lot. So it's not an issue. It's not a situation where I can say that my situation is worse than yours, but I can empathize with your situation, and I hope you can empathize with mine, because I realize that we all have it tough in our own way, and it's important to realize that. Rudy, thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate it a ton, so much. You have no idea. Every time there's a donation on in the live streams or on the channel, or someone becomes a member on the channel, it helps make things a little bit less hard. It helps me think that, well, I'm helping enough that someone feels like they want to help me out, and that the situation will eventually get better. I always tell myself one day when I'm like a YouTuber with like 10,000 subscribers or 100,000 subscribers and my videos have a ton of views, I'll just be happy that that's probably going to be where the income is coming from, and I won't need to make, not even make, I won't even like have to feel bad like that. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I won't feel like I'm forcing anyone to help me out, because sometimes I feel like the help that I get, maybe because you feel bad for me or you feel like I'm not in a good position, like, I'm happy if you help, and if you can't, you being here is plenty of help, and that means so much to me. So don't even worry about it. I appreciate the donation. I appreciate it so much, but I never want anyone to feel forced to donate. That's what I'm trying to say. So Beyond Borders, why is the Airbnb story so scary? Strangers knock on doors all the time. I live in a house and I get at least 2 to 3 people knocking on the door every week. The reason why a situation like that might be scary over here is because when you think about the situation with the unlifings, the sicariatos, you worry that the person who's knocking on the door is looking to do something bad to you, thinking that you're someone else. Like, who knows if the person who was renting the Airbnb that you're at before you was someone who was involved with gangs, and you just happened to be there because you wanted to rent the Airbnb. So it's like, you never know. You could just be caught in the crossfire of something that has nothing to do with you. So it's scary. It could be scary for someone for that reason. Or it could be scary for other people in the sense that if they see that no one's home, they'll want to like steal something from you, and you don't want to respond because you're like afraid of something happening, and then they think there's no one home, they break into your house, and because they see you, they get scared and something could happen to you. It's circumstantial. There's no guarantee that those things are going to happen, but like those are things that people worry about. At least that's what I feel people would worry about. I would worry about that if I overthink it, of course. Robert, hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Good to see that you're here. Glad you could make it. Yours, Beyond Borders, for what I know of Puerto Viejo and Quito. In Puerto Viejo, you can go wherever you want by foot or bicycle. And Quito, there are a lot of buses that drive almost everywhere you need. Yeah, Quito, your best bet in transportation that I hear is buses. If you want it to be cheap. Same thing with a city like Cuenca. Puerto Viejo, you can get everywhere walking. Like everything is really close. You just have to weigh the risk. If you're gonna walk places, just don't bring anything of value and you'll be fine. You'll be scared if they stop you, of course, but you'll be fine. Unless, I mean, there was this comment that a friend of mine made. His mom is living here now, and she used to live in the States, and he bought her a cheap Samsung phone at like $200, and he told her to carry that phone at least, even though she says she doesn't need to carry a phone, but he told her, carry this phone because a robber's not going to believe you that you don't have anything, and if you don't have anything to give them, they might hurt you because you don't have anything. Robert, doing good. Have been at a dog competition all day. That's great. I hope it went well. What, did you have your dogs competing? Do you have a dog? Did your dog compete? Beyond Borders, I feel a stranger is only a stranger until you get to know them. Your friends were strangers until you got to know them. True. That's why I do always promote interacting with the locals, because interaction with the locals will mean that you'll have more friends, more interaction. They'll be able to warn you if something happens. They'll keep you up to date. Maybe if you don't want to be gringoed, they can help you out. So yeah, I do think it's always good to have friends here. And more than anything, to just not be alone. I know you can interact with fellow foreigners, but having people who are also locals, you just get to learn a little bit more about what the culture is like here. I wanted to mention this earlier for channel members. One of my videos, the one about the controversies, part 2 is out for members now. It's available. You can watch it. It'll be available for everyone on Tuesday. But for channel members, they get to see it a little bit earlier, a little bit of an incentive to become a member. So you can check that out. And the fun thing about those videos, and something that a member made me look at, Matt, if I remember correctly, he loves them because it shows you a little bit of the culture of the people here. Because in the videos, we interact in Spanish. And it's realistic to the way that we interact, you know? Like it's our personal thoughts and opinions on the opinions of fellow Ecuadorians. So it's pretty interesting. Rudy, hey, let's get you to that 100K. Let's do it. Remember, if you guys can share this with friends, if you can share the content, if you watch the videos from beginning to end, the algorithm will push them to more people. Everything helps. A comment, leave a comment on the video like, hey, thanks for the video. Everything helps. Except for just entering a video and leaving a like. That does not help. You have to watch the video to the end to let YouTube know that it was a good video. Fluffy, I pay 17 cents per ride in Tranvia in Cuenca. Have never experienced any pickpockets. I am very careful. Very good, Fluffy. I like your level of safety. I'm gonna open the pretzels, by the way. Let's see here. Robert, I compete in a dog sport called agility. It's basically an obstacle course, lots of fun. Throughout South America, there are competitions via Sociedad Canina. That's awesome. I wish my husky could compete, but Chief is just a troublemaker. Not so much a do tricks and listen to people kind of dog. But I'm glad you do that. I hope you have fun with it. Patricia, I live in a safe area, but I don't open the door to strangers. It's good to get to know the people around you, but definitely better if you don't know them yet to not open the door. Just a precaution. Pavitro, Ace, do you study the Bible? Because everything that's going on right now, it's in the Bible. Studying the Bible will give you wisdom, and it's going to help you answer your questions about the world now. You know, I haven't studied the Bible. I've always wanted to read it just as like educational content, just to learn, because I feel like if something like the Bible has existed for the time that it's existed, there's a reason for it. I feel like there's always a reason for everything. Just haven't given myself the chance. In fact, I haven't even given myself the chance to read some of the books that I have. But I'm sure. Oh, magic. Pretzel time. Yes. Thank you. Pretzel time. If you have pretzels at home, enjoy. I had missed these so much. I don't remember when was the last time I bought pretzels. I think I showed you guys on stream, but I haven't bought them in a while because I hadn't gone to Comisariato. Yesterday, I went to Comisariato, and I went to go buy dog food. I bought 2 bags of dog food, and I also bought the pretzels because I was there. I also bought some seasoning that my dad needed. And while we were at Comisariato, since it's in the shopping, we went to Marathon, which is a sports store here in Ecuador. And in Marathon, we typically go to look at the things that are there because we can't afford some of the things at the moment. It's clothing, sports clothing. I want to buy some new shoes because the shoes that I've had them for a long time and I need to buy them. But I wanted to tell you that my brother bought me a pair of, well, 3 pairs of socks. It was a 3-pack. It was $10. I was so happy because I haven't even bought myself socks. I'm just like, I'm waiting for like this month to end in order to buy some things that I need. Like I need shoes, I need socks. I think I need clothing in general because I've just been like, I use the same clothing like for years. So it's just like things that I feel like I have to buy. Like now that I have the light, I'm really happy with this. So now I can actually record at night. In fact, in my new controversies video, you'll notice that that was recorded at night. You might notice. So it's just really fun. It's really cool that now that I have the light, I have the microphones, I have my tripod. Honestly, I'm hoping to get a different tripod in the future. I have most of the things that I need to record. The laptop was a welcome addition as well. Love it. I kind of wish I had a Mac, but that's too expensive. But I'm happy with everything I have so far. And I think little by little, the channel is growing. It's growing at a slow pace, so I'm hoping it grows a little bit more. April, thank you for becoming a fan. I appreciate it. For becoming a member, your contribution is much appreciated. Welcome to the Pretzel Gang. So yeah. Patricia, I was wondering about dog sports and shows in South America. I did some agility and obedience competitions with a previous dog I had years ago. Patricia, Robert, if you guys want to train my dog, Chief, I'd appreciate that. No, I'm kidding. I like Chief being a little troublemaker. He's cute. Rudy, I bought 2 shoes in Marathon, the biggest shoes I could find. They had a good 2-for-1 deal. Ah, man, I wish we had a 2-for-1 deal. I saw these really cool shoes that they look like Air Force Ones, like kind of like big style shoes. Um, but they're kind of expensive. I appreciate you, April. Thank you so much. Papicho, $10 for 3 pairs of socks. I find that very expensive. I thought it was actually pretty cheap because I saw some socks from like other brands. I think it was like Under Armour, and those cost like $24 for a 3-pack. And I was like, no, not that. I'm happy with the Astro brand of socks. It's more than enough. Daniel, as I said before, foreigners have to remember they're being watched as soon as they touch down. Remain vigilant always. Agreed. Actually wanted to see if I showed you the shoes that I have, because the shoes that I typically use, there's one pair that I remember when I once took a spill on my motorcycle. They got kind of like scraped, so they work. They're good shoes. They're just like, if you look at them close enough, you'll notice that they're damaged. Then there's the other pair that I use. They're the gray pair to match with different types of clothing. And then I have this pair of sports shoes that I only use them for sports. They were only for basketball before, but now they're for general me doing sports. And that's it. I do have my fancy shoes and my work shoes. The fancy shoes that go with, like, you know, outfits, and the work shoes that are these white shoes that I bought for work. But those are the shoes that I have. So I'm like, I need to buy a new pair of shoes. That's why I'm like, I need to buy them. Let's see here. How much do, by the way, Papicho, how much do socks generally cost? Because I didn't think $10 was all that expensive, especially if I compared it to the $20 socks. I was very much into the Holy Bible and Christianity. As I got older, I realized there can only be one God, but we have thousands of religions and each have a different deity. So which one is real? Oh man, the religion conversation. That one is a tough one to answer because obviously I don't have the answer to that. I just think that the best thing you can do is believe in the thing that you want to believe in the most. And be a good person always. Like having a belief, a specific belief, it shouldn't make you a bad person. Like if you believe in Christianity, you don't attack Buddhism or any other religion. Vice versa, any religion you believe in, as long as you don't attack anyone else and you do what's right, I think that's more than enough. Hi, Alejandra. Hello. All right. Quick question. In Canada, the member button isn't available, but I've seen it on other channels. Not sure if there's a setting to open it to other regions. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's because of the currency, since in Ecuador, it's like, well, I have USD, so I don't know if it's because of that. But it's weird. I have noticed that there are some channels, even when I've gone on YouTube, that they don't show the option to become a member, but on other channels they do. For example, let me go on to MKBHD's channel. I think I can find it there. Yeah, there's a join button on his channel. And if I go to, let's assume, Linus Tech Tips. On Linus's channel, I can also join. So the option is available for me to join, but apparently not the inverse. I don't know. I didn't think it was something that that could be changed, to be honest. Papito, I pay $6 for 12 pairs of socks. You need to tell me where your supplier is, man. I need those socks. Rudy, could be. I'll check on my side. All right, go for it. Either way, I'm not sure. It's weird because it's not something that like region-wise you activate or not. It's just as soon as you can on YouTube, you have the option to set up membership. Like you can set it up. I can set up other tiers. I just don't feel like there's anything that I can offer that I would feel would be fair for what you're giving me. Like I never like having like for example, uh, like that's why sometimes I also feel bad about getting donations because I feel like I'm not offering enough to receive like to deserve a donation. So it's like in that same sense for members, like I appreciate the support and I feel bad when I can't offer things. And on that topic, I am planning on doing this like a member stream because there's something that we have to talk about a little bit more personal that we can't talk about here. It's only going to be available to members and it's nothing like life changing. It's just something that we have to talk about and I need help talking about it. So I want to make it so that only people who really, really, really want to be there are there. And it's a little bit tough to do and it's a little bit tough to talk about on stream here. So that's why I'm saving that. It's nothing like paywall or anything. It's nothing really like I don't know how to say it. Like nothing that like you would miss out on. You'd be like, oh no, why didn't I know this? It's just something that we have to talk about. So I'm planning on doing that soon because it's something that I want to organize as soon as possible. Let's see here. Beyond Borders. I was responding to an earlier question. Yeah. He had talked about that. Let's see here. Ryan, my membership button is beside my chat field, has the money sign. I think you can see it. Yeah, I have it over here too. There's a super chat and super stickers here on the phone version. Let's see. Daniel, is entrepreneurship hard in Ecuador? Can you just sell food on a stall outside of or you need a license? It's tough. This is something I've wanted to talk about, but I'm not sure what the correct way to talk about it is. Food businesses are lucrative, but it's tough to get into the food business if your food business isn't the best and the cheapest. Because there's so much competition. There's so much competition. It's crazy how you can go like down a street and find like 20 different restaurants or stalls of people selling food sometimes. It's like everyone's competing and trying to put each other out of business. That's what makes me feel bad. That everyone's like trying to put each other out of business because you'll see one place that sells encebollado and a week later on the other side of the street, another place will be selling encebollado because they saw that this place was succeeding selling encebollado. And I know that's just the market. It just feels like there's only so much you can do. Like there's only so much you can like of the market that you can take without there being an oversaturation. And I feel like the food business is oversaturated. My dad, because he's had his business for years, like since he's gotten here, he has a clientele, like a client base, but it's not like he's like breaking bank from the business. It's good enough for us to survive and to be okay, like to a level where maybe other people aren't on that same level. But even we have some problems that like it's really tough to overcome, especially considering the way that life has been progressing, let's just say. The economy, as we've talked about before, inflation and such. Just realized I hadn't eaten this pretzel. You could sell food on a stall, but I do know that if the IRS catches wind of it, they might go and like stop you from selling, by the way. Patricio, there's only one God, and his name is on every Bible in the world, and his name is Jehovah. I respect your religion, Papicho. Much love. Patricia, GMA. Oh, by the way, Rudy, thank you for becoming, I look it over here. Thank you for becoming a fan. Thank you for supporting the channel and becoming a member. I really appreciate it. make sure you check out the video that I posted, which is gonna come out for everyone on Tuesday, but you get to watch it first. So make sure to check it out, please. I want you to take advantage of one of the few perks I can give for members. Patricia must be buying the LA Roche Posay of socks. No, not at all. Astro is actually a sports brand and a cheap one in comparison to the other brands. So the fact that these were like $10 for 3 pairs, I thought was pretty good. Especially considering that I feel like they're going to last me a long time. Normally socks, I have to make those last forever almost. But I didn't know that there were places that sold so many socks. For example, yours, I bought 5 pairs of socks for $10 and now have holes. I do the same thing. Even with holes, I have to wear them because I can't just keep buying socks all the time. It would be crazy. Maybe we can use them for like sock puppets. We did a puppet show in the high school. That's why I'm remembering like puppets. Ryan, no socks, just Crocs. You know, I've never used Crocs. I feel like I should buy a pair one day. Yours, I don't know if there are still commerce in Alajuela Street next to Colegio Puerto Viejo, but there was nice offers in clothes. Yeah, in clothes there's a lot of nice offers there still. I haven't gone, but I know that everything is always cheap there. I might see if I can buy some pairs of socks because I don't like not having socks. So street vendors don't need a permit. Never mind, I see you do. Yes, because the IRS loves their money. And in fact, the IRS, they have to give the devolución, the tax return, and they still haven't given me my tax return. So there's money that I don't have that I need because that money from the tax return is the money that I don't touch because that money is to pay off the internet. So I've been having to like pay off the internet with money that's not money that was supposed to be for that. Thanks for becoming a member, Rudy. I really appreciate it. Once again. Answer join button is now disabled on iOS due to Apple's 30% fee. It is available on Android and... I see. No wonder. Beyond Borders, it is a very good video. Now looking forward to number 3. Number 3 is almost done. I actually took the time and like speed edited number 3. I just need to do the final scene, which is where I talk. Like I have to talk first and explain that this is another part of the series. So I'm just missing that. Once that is done, edit it into the video, post it. I want to have that video out latest next week because I feel like I've been really behind on content and I really apologize to everyone. I become very demanding with myself when it comes to things because I like to make sure everything is well done. So it's like when I feel like I haven't put out content for a long time, I feel bad because I feel like I'm failing you. So please be patient with me. I'm trying my best to have everything as soon as possible. And as soon as this month is over, since I've been recording a video all this month, there's going to be another video for next month as well. So we've got some content coming. Just be patient. Papicho, I'm not a religious person. I studied the Bible a long time ago. Okay. Beyond Borders, still waiting for the follow-up videos for your father's story. I have to sit him down and record it. That's literally one of the only things that I'm missing. And then afterwards, of course, edit it. I might do the same kind of editing that I'm doing with my current videos, where I let YouTube do the closed captions in order to have it out a little bit faster. Because if I have to add the captions, that video could take forever. Patricia, dang, Apple takes 30%? That's the kind of American greed I'm talking about. The Apple tax, as they call it. I love Apple. I'm not even going to hide that fact. I love Apple. I believe in their products. I just don't like the price. Actually, one of the things that I've wanted, because I've seen that my coworkers have it, it's like they have iPads, and I'm like, I wish I had one. I feel like editing would be a little bit more fun with a bigger screen. Anyone can confirm if they have an iPad. Um, Daniel, what is the point of toeless socks? They look. It's just to wear, honestly. I mean, mine aren't toeless, but they do have holes because of the years that they've had of use. So it's like, it's better than nothing. On borders, I wouldn't look forward to that refund. Government needs to maintain military presence. I mean, they have to do it legally. They have to. I'm still paying taxes, so it's like, hey, where's my refund? Really, Ryan? Why do you regret choosing your iPad? There's something wrong with it? iPad's great, but I've gotten used to my MacBook now. I hear good things about both. I've never gotten a chance to use them, so it's like everyone says iPad, best app, best, what you call it, best tablet, but it can't replace a computer. Mm. Would you consider getting a Galaxy Tab? I'm wondering if now. Hmm. I feel like maybe now we can actually like. I'm wondering with this laptop if now we can actually like show videos, so I can at least show you the video of Philip DeFranco. Or at least, let's see here. Breaking news, Joe Biden just dropped out. That was what I watched earlier. And also in the comment that he posted, he pinned on his video regarding to the president dropping out of the elections. He put right as the video was posted, Joe Biden endorsed Kamala Harris. Rudy, have you ever tried Santa Rosa ceviche? I have not. Is it because it's from a specific area, or is it a specific type of ceviche? Does it have something special? Ryan, I really enjoyed having a MacBook Air, though it died. Unfortunate. Beyond Borders, it was a facetious joke. Uh, Maybe I see it was a bad one. No, I'm just really bad on picking up on jokes, by the way. But government better give me my refund. Ryan, yes, I have a good experience with Android, Samsung. I've always wondered what it would be like to have one of the good like Samsung phones. Although technically they all should be good. Although a lot of people right now are complaining because Samsung is becoming more like Apple in the sense that they're copying a lot of things from Apple, which I was actually surprised because the competition was always Samsung versus Apple. Now it just kind of feels like everyone's just trying to become Apple. Daniel, I think the YouTube channel Moon would be great for Ace as it cares about the world and delves into complex issues. I mean, I like watching the channel Philip DeFranco. He dives into complex issues of America. Well, the news. To me, that's complex. I also watch Legal Eagle when I want to learn some more about like the reason why some people are being sued or some things in regards to law. There's also the channel Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, which I know is part of a show from Max, HBO Max, but I get to watch it on YouTube, so I enjoy watching it here. It's ceviche con arroz, con toyo, con pollo. It's a bit particular, but well loved. Really, a lot of people here. I don't know if you've heard the word funado, but a lot of people here would funar that comment because, like, they would be like, ceviche is not eaten with chicken. What? I don't know about rice either. I did eat in my trip to Montañita. If you watched it, I ate ceviche with rice because I saw my friends put rice in their ceviche, so I tried it and it was good. Yours, it would sound weird for Manalas, but ceviche de pollo tastes good. I'm telling you, for anyone here in Manaví, you say ceviche de pollo and they're gonna look at you like, what you talking about? The same thing with modifications to encebollado. The most groundbreaking modification that they made to ceviche here in Ecuador was when they added the peanut butter, the peanut sauce. That was the most groundbreaking thing about it. Exactly, that's the usual response when hearing about it. I'm telling you, people go kind of crazy when you modify food a certain way. Like, it's got to be really good in order for you to, like, get away with modifying it. That's why people in the, like, when you talk about encebollado in the highlands and putting popcorn or corn in it, or, like, I don't know what you would call that, they're like, ew, no, because it's nasty. You can't do that. They might even fight you for that. Alright, I think there isn't really much else to talk about. I did kind of want to see if I could show this video, see if it works. But this is the video I was talking about, where Philip DeFranco talks about Joe Biden dropping out of the election. By the way, this is a channel I watch a lot. Let me know if it lags, because I've never tried it on this laptop.
President Joe Biden has announced that he is dropping out of the presidential race, having just released a statement saying, "My fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we've made great progress in the nation. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. We've made historic investments in rebuilding our nation, lowering prescription drug costs for citizens, expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans. We've provided critically needed care to 1 million veterans exposed to toxic substances, passed the first gun safety law in 30 years, appointed the first African-American woman to the Supreme Court."
I don't want to get too into the situation with why I was worried about Biden being president. I think a lot of people recognize that there has been some issues with his age, but I was very surprised to hear that he decided to basically drop out. But yeah, I don't want to play the whole video because I feel like then afterwards, I don't know if there would be copyright for it. But I thought it was pretty groundbreaking when I saw that. Groundbreaking is probably not the right word. Very surprising news. Daniel, have you tried Colombian food? I found it dry and unseasoned, at least in the capital, Bogota, anyways. I haven't. Every country seems to have, in Latin America especially, every country seems to have a lot of pride in their food. There's even a part of, in Ecuador, like I talked about how in Puerto Viejo, they made the biggest ceviche, World Guinness record. And there's another city that was making another food recently. I just don't remember where it was or what the food was. If I can find the image, I'll probably post it on the community tab. But I haven't tried Colombian food. But I know that it's weird to hear that because, like I said, Latin American countries seem to have insane amounts of pride when it comes to their food. Like Peru. Peru is another place that the food is supposedly really good. I'd say supposedly because I haven't tried it. And it did kind of frustrate me that they tried to claim encebollado when encebollado has always been an Ecuadorian dish. So, just one of those things. Mm. I didn't know there was a live reaction to it. My reaction to this is basically, I think it's okay that Biden drops out as long as he knows who he's going to endorse for the next candidate. I just hope it goes well. Honestly, for me, the best possible outcome is for the states to be okay. So that's really all I want. Magic, you can play the video using fair use rules, but you have to stop the video and talk. You can't just play it all the way through. There isn't much I have to say about this. Like I said, that's why I don't want to play it too much because everything that I have to say, I've kind of already said it. But I just kind of want the next president to like make the country better, as any American would. But yeah, I saw who he had endorsed, and it was on the first comment of Philip DeFranco's video. Magic, I know, Beyond Borders. I'm happy now. I voted for him in 2020, but I couldn't bring myself to vote 81 to the White House. Not too about Kamala, but at least she is much younger. Rudy, Ecuador food is the best. How do you like comments? I want to like that comment. I want to like heart that comment, but I can't. I wish I could heart it. Well, I'm going to pin it. Ecuador food is best. I love it. There are some people who they say that other food from other places is the best, but I guess you could say that depends on your perspective. But I love it. I love Ecuadorian food. Definitely. Yoris Ace, have you tried cuy? No, I have not. I have a cuy keychain or a chain that's on my backpack, but I haven't tried cuy. He endorsed Kamala Harris. Yeah, I saw that in the first comment of Philip DeFranco's video. If you go down, it's over here. He actually pinned it. Update right as the video was posted. Joe Biden endorsed Kamala Harris. 49 years old is a better option than 81 or 78. From the way that I've been seeing things in the States, I have a bad feeling that maybe not president, but ex-president Trump is going to win. I mean, he might be able to be a good president. I just don't know how I feel about letting someone who has criminal charges placed on him run for office. It sets a bad precedent. Like, you're basically saying that it doesn't matter if you're a criminal, as long as you're charismatic and people love you, like, run. It's not fair. By the way, when I played the video, did the stream lag? Was everything okay? I'm kind of like doing a test here because I'm not sure if the video is gonna make it so that the stream has a problem. How do you feel about Project 2025? I heard about it. I saw some things about it. I don't know the details. I had a short conversation with my friend my good buddy Don about it. And in general, what from what I was able to see, like honestly, I don't feel like it's anything different than what I would expect most plans to be. It kind of feels like just taking advantage of Trump in order to like to push an agenda. I think that's like my simplest interpretation of it, of course. I'd have to read through it like truly in detail to like understand it and get a better opinion. But really I don't have much thoughts about it. Hmm. Thanks for the pin, not a problem. Pollo verde con chicharrón. Chicharrón, the best. For breakfast, can't beat that. You mean the bolon or bollo? Except maybe the mixed cerdo y papas dish from a vendor on Avenida Ajavi in Quito. The hornado, have you tried hornado de chancho? Amazing in Quito. So I wanted to ask, is there anything that you guys want to talk about? If not, I think we can end the stream a little bit early today. I don't want to take up anyone's time. Like if you're here and you like being here, I appreciate it. I'm glad to have you. But I also feel like everyone has things to do, and I don't want to take up your time. Mm. Bolon is amazing. I love bolon de chicharrón. So good. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else to discuss right now. Really, the news has been kind of dry. Like, not really a lot of big things happening. Like the paro, the protest was, I guess, the biggest thing that we could talk about, and of course the lack of security, safety. But it's also something we've talked about a lot, and I don't feel like there's going to be anything substantial happening. I could be wrong. Something could happen tomorrow, but for now, it just feels like everything is as we've talked about before. So yeah, I think we'll end the stream here since there's not much else. I don't see any questions. So I do appreciate everyone for being here. Once again, thank you for taking the time from your day. Muchísimas gracias. Pretzel Squad. I hope you guys have an excellent day. If there's any questions that you have, of course, you can always leave a comment. I've been slow on responding to comments, but I try to respond as quickly as possible. If you'd like a quicker response, you can send me an email because I do try to always respond to those quicker than messages, than comments, because the email doesn't get lost in the message, in the comments. With the comments, it's like I get a comment and then I get another comment, and that comment makes it so I can't see the previous comment until I enter the studio app and look for the comments. So it's like I get comments and comments, and I'm like, what do I respond to first? Especially since I like to be detailed. So, let me know if you need anything. Take care. As always, I enjoyed. It's all good beyond borders. Don't worry about it. I enjoy you being here, and thank you for your comments and your insight. Always good to hear from you. Same thing, Magic. Thanks for being here. Rudy, excellent day. Yoris, take care. Ryan, thank you for being here. And as always, peace out. Bye, guys.